And for more on all of this, we're pleased to be joined now by pollster John Zogby. John's also the director of the Keenan Center for Entrepreneurship and Ethics at his alma mater, Lemoyne College, and he is the author of the book, We Are Many, We Are One, Neo-Tribes and Tribal Analytics in 21st Century America. John Skypes in tonight from Utica, New York. And Brother Zogby, we always appreciate your time on Newsmax Prime. To last night's Commander-in-Chief Forum, when in doubt, just lash out at your opponent. Donald Trump really took the fight to Hillary, especially concerning her emails, saying, in fact, she should be in jail. Here's the way he put it.
We have a country where you have Hillary Clinton with her emails that nobody's ever seen, where she deletes 33,000 emails, and that's after getting a subpoena from Congress. If you do that in private business, you get thrown in jail.
John, admittedly, that is a target-rich environment with Hillary, but it seemed that Mr. Trump, despite the kind of badgering from Matt Lauer, stayed on message. Is he becoming more effective and, in essence, more presidential as his campaign wears on?
You know, it seemed to me that he is. I mean, I thought his performance was good. I thought the questions from Matt Lauer were tough, and I thought he was, you know, with the exception of that one clip, was fairly subdued and stayed on message. So I thought he had a good night last night.
Now, Hillary Clinton got a question from a military intelligence veteran about her emails and came up with yet another excuse. Let's look and listen.
Classified material has a header which says top secret, secret, confidential, nothing. And I will repeat this, and this is verified in the report by the Department of Justice. None of the emails sent or received by me had such a header.
But that was because, I understand, either she instructed her staff or her staff just took off the headers that they sent to her on private emails. Is it better in politics just to have an answer the way Hillary is doing this, or is she damaging even further her trustworthiness?
JD, I guess it all depends on what your definition of is. That there always seems to be something that smells, and there always seems to be an excuse for it. And okay, except the problem, I think, and the numbers are showing it, is that the rest of us don't get that many excuses for things. And so I think she's on the ropes. Look, I've said this many times before. Democrats have a tremendous advantage going into this election in terms of the Electoral College, demographics, a president who's not really unpopular right now, and an economy that, you know, by all measures, at least appears to be improving, and yet it's very close. Her numbers are the ones that are heading south, and these sorts of dodges don't help her.
And speaking of those numbers, now, admittedly, what we're going to see next is from a live online poll, courtesy of NBC News and Twitter. And I think it is worth noting that the NBC News Forum online poll put Trump way out in front, 60% to 40%. I'm just kind of curious, though, the methodology of online polls, it's not seeking out a random sample. Does it measure anything of value, intensity, or who's frequenting a website? Is there anything valuable about the online polls?
Who's frequenting a website? Now, let's differentiate. There are legitimate online polls where you seek a random sampling and invite people to participate in the poll, much like you would make a phone call at random. These kinds of online polls instead are, you know, if you've got an opinion, an axe to grind, a vote to make, vote here. Let's just say Trump has a lot more intensity. Number two, the audience, the live audience was his last night, and we know that from a real poll, that a military background, military household folks are with Donald Trump and not with Hillary Clinton. So in that sense, interesting, but don't go to the bank on it.
Well, let's go to more traditional national polling now that we're in this full swing of the campaign. We're seeing polls released on almost a daily basis. According to the latest Rasmussen Reports national poll, Hillary is up by 4, Mrs. Clinton at 43, Mr. Trump at 39, Gary Johnson at 9, Jill Stein at 2. Do you believe anyone will get a bounce from last night's NBC News forum?
I think probably not. I think last night, for those who were watching or will pay attention to the news, let's just call it a draw and more intensity, for among the supporters of each side. I think the guy who really hurt himself last night, but that was in a different forum, was Gary Johnson, who really flubbed a question about not knowing what Aleppo was all about.
Yep, as chronicled on Morning Joe, and we'll take a look at that later on this program as well, John. There is some other welcome polling news for Donald Trump. It's a poll commissioned by the Boston Herald and Franklin Pierce University, where Mr. Trump's doing much better now with African American and Hispanic voters. His favorability among those groups, 35% among Hispanics, 24% among black voters. That's reportedly better than the numbers for Mitt Romney in 2012. John, with about a minute left, how crucial is this?
Very crucial. Any way to cut in to Hillary's base. And Republicans are starting with 10% of African American support at most, and 28 to 30% of Latino support at most. Any advantage there that can be picked up in two ways, either keeping them home on election day or raising his numbers a little bit, can really make a difference in some key battleground states.
John Zogby via Skype from Utica, New York. John, the author of the book, We Are Many, We Are One, Neo-Tribes and Tribal Analytics in 21st Century America. John, as always, thank you for your insights and analysis here on Newsmax Prime. And as Newsmax Prime continues, Congressman Brian Babin joins us to go more in depth on last night's Commander-in-Chief Forum. He'll also tell us what's percolating legislatively on Capitol Hill. Make way for the Congressman coming up next.